Welcome to another edition of the Current Era Podcast. I'm your host, Julian, and I want to start things off by saying happy Monday, everybody. Today, I do have Mondi on the pod today to help me talk about the DC Extended Universe. So for those of you who are not familiar, the DC Extended Universe is similar to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where they have a collection of characters from DC Comics in a movie universe that all interconnect. So these films are Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Justice League, Wonder Woman, all those films. So just a heads up, some of those movies came out in 2017, and Mondi and I did a separate pod for those movies, so we didn't want to discuss those. We do go in-depth on Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad, and Shazam, but we won't be talking about Justice League, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman because we did separate pods for those movies. But we do address some of the issues that DC has been having as far as why they just can't seem to win or get off the ground with their film universe and why Marvel's is just superior. But this was a really fun pod, man. Again, Mondi, thank you for coming on the pod. I love talking to you about this superhero stuff. Obviously something we both love. So, yeah, thank you, man. And if you're new to the pod, please remember to subscribe to the podcast. When you subscribe, those episodes will download automatically. Or if you just want to download them individually, whichever works for you. The downloads are what really count for me, so please continue to do so. Also, if you're new to the pod, please leave me a 5-star review. If you're on Apple Podcast or iTunes, please just scroll down, rate me 5 stars. That'll also really help my podcast grow. That's enough for me, guys. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and get to the episode. Mondi, what's going on, man? We're here again to talk about something that we both love. What is wrong with you?
I don't know.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Are we gonna do this?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm gonna keep it.
Okay,
I'm gonna
go.
keep it.
Let's
So
go.
just FYI.
Let's do it.
So people are gonna be like, "What the hell was that?"
I don't know. Let's do it.
Okay, try this again. Mondi, Are you okay?
Yeah,
Are you here?
I'm here. Let's do it.
Okay, thank you. So today we're talking about the DC Extended Universe, which is the DC movies that they have from Man of Steel to Shazam at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So just starting off, I mean, I myself am a huge DC fan. I even to this day I love DC more than Marvel, and that's after seeing Avengers Endgame, which is, we talked about earlier. I thought it was the greatest movie I've ever seen. I mean, that movie is just amazing, but I still love the DC universe, characters, everything more. But what about you, man? I mean, are you at this point after seeing Endgame, are you still like a diehard Marvel fan, or do you prefer DC still?
Yeah. Okay. So I started off my comic journey, I guess, as a more of a DC fan, but I've always appreciated both properties. But honestly, the MCU has really swayed me towards just being a Marvel fan, like more so a Marvel fan than a DC fan.
Wow.
And I give 100% credit to the MCU and the world that they've built, and the chances that they take on their characters.
Mm-hmm.
And like I love the DC core, but outside of that, it's like DC doesn't do anything with them.
Sure.
So Marvel will experiment with anybody. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Ant-Man.
So I love it.
Okay.
So I'd say I'm more of a Marvel fan than a DC fan now.
Okay, so what about, I mean, let's take out the MCU.
Yeah.
Like, say if it was just Sam Raimi, Spider-Man, the
Mm-hmm.
X-Men movies that we've seen, Hugh Jackman's included.
Yeah.
The Apocalypses, the Dark Phoenixes, the Fantastic Fours. Like, if the MCU didn't exist, would you still be as big of a Marvel fan?
No, I wouldn't. I just said that. No. No, I wouldn't.
Thanks, Marvel.
I'm sorry to be smart.
Okay, so before we get into the DC Extended Universe, I wanted to kind of give a little nod to Superman Returns.
Mm-hmm.
This movie was like the first movie that put Superman on a big stage in this decade, this universe, really, in our lifetime. I mean, they had the Superman movies in the 70s when we weren't born, but in our lifetime, this is the first one that we got on the big screen. And I thought the movie wasn't like awful. Like, I didn't think it was fantastic. I thought it was just a good, okay movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But a lot of people hated the movie. But what's your opinion on Superman Returns?
I didn't think it was awful, but just not great either. It's just it exists. Brandon Routh did his best Christopher Reeve impression.
Sure, yeah.
Which is why I appreciate Henry Cavill's more.
Yeah.
His take on Superman was just different. I wish the end was kind of weird, how he had his son.
Yeah.
He was pretty much stalking Lois Lane the whole movie, but it had some cool scenes in it. Yeah, so, cool, but,
Yeah, I think last time we talked about this, you mentioned the bullet scene.
Oh, yeah, to the eye. That was great.
He got shot in the eye. That was really cool. I think Brandon Routh is fine. I like him a lot more as Ray Palmer on Legends of Tomorrow, which after season 2 that show is just unwatchable. But
oh really?
Yeah, the show is terrible after season 2. It's it's just so convoluted, so ridiculous, so many, and then Flashpoint comes into it and it just messes everything. It's terrible. But anyway, but I think he's great as Ray Palmer. But yeah, even as Superman, I thought he did an okay job. Like you said, like he tried to go for the Christopher Reeves lookalike type thing. Like they even have some of the same shots that they tried to recreate, and even acting like him. Yeah. But I guess that movie was supposed to be a continuation of the Christopher Reeves movies, so I guess it makes sense as to why they did that.
Was it really?
Yeah, that's why Superman Returns. Because in 3 or 4 or whatever, he left to go to wherever the hell he went in space, and this is him returning. Yeah, it was supposed to be a continuation of those movies.
Wow, I literally didn't know that.
But I don't want to spend too much time on Superman Returns. Just wanted to give a little shout out.
Please not.
So, going into the first film in the DCEU, as they call it, the first film being Man of Steel, I thought that this movie was going to be just 10 out of 10, amazing. Like, I remember seeing the trailers for this film.
Wait, I'm sorry. If you're going to mention Superman Returns, just movies outside of the DCEU, are you going to mention the Dark Knight trilogy?
No, because that's a whole other podcast.
Okay, that's in itself. Okay,
yeah, that's a whole other podcast.
Okay.
Those are 3 of the finest movies, but that's just
gotcha.
Because it's going to take us too long.
Okay,
but yeah.
Sorry.
I really wanted to mention Superman Returns because everybody hates it.
Yeah.
And I just didn't think that it was worthy of all that hate. Like I think that like I said, it's a fine movie. Anyway, so the first movie in the DCEU is Man of Steel.
Yeah.
And going into this film, I remember seeing the trailers for this movie. And it was like it just looked iconic and epic. Like one of my favorite shots of the trailer is where you see young Clark Kent when he's out there on his farm and he's wearing like a white tee and he has the red cape. Then the music comes on and he hits the little Superman pose. Yeah. I'm just like, yes, like, give me more, inject it into my veins. This is what I need. Yeah. But what were your impressions of the movie The Man of Steel?
Loved it. I know it's kind of divided. The end kind of causes a lot of that, division upon opinions. But this is one of my favorite superhero movies of all time. It's in my top 10.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, I love this movie. I love the take Zack Snyder took on it, but I'm a huge Zack Snyder fan. I know you don't hear that too much, especially from comic book fans, but I love Zack Snyder. I love the take he took on it. I love the darker approach I love they kind of gave Superman Clark Kent humanity. Mm-hmm. And I feel like he lacked that even in the cartoons. Like it's like he seems like he's just so godly and like he's so unrelatable. But they kind of like brought him back to earth in terms of the things he goes through. Like there's a scene where he's like trying to hitchhike. Yeah. Like why does Superman need to hitchhike? Like I love that though.
Yeah.
And so I just love the gritty tone of the movie. I love the time he spent on Krypton. I know you didn't. Mm-hmm. I love the relationship he had with his dad, Russell Crowe. Yeah. And this was like the first Superman movie we got where we got to see him fight someone
worthy
of his power level.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say worthy. I think Lex Luthor the worthy opponent, but in terms of just physically worthy,
sure.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was like watching the live action Dragon Ball Z. Like this is like this made Dragon Ball Evolution. Like this is what Dragon Ball Evolution should have been. That end fight with Zod and Superman. Like that's how Goku and like Frieza would look like if they fought. Like
right.
It was great. So I loved it. It was my first time seeing something like that on that scale. And I love the movie. I love the themes of the movie, the music, the score, everything. I love it.
Yeah, man. I want to give a shout out to Henry Cavill. I thought that he was a fantastic Superman, like you said. Even like especially in the Superman suit, like this dude looks like Superman to me. He's super jacked, and I think I don't know if this is true in the comics, but in the movie they made his symbol, the Superman symbol, mean hope. Yeah. And I thought that was really cool. Like it's like it's like sentimental to the House of El and Krypton, and that was really cool. And I do think they spent a lot of time on Krypton. Like in my opinion, they didn't need to spend 35 minutes on Krypton. But
it wasn't 35 minutes.
Felt like it. It felt like a good 35 minutes on Krypton. But I will say, the flashbacks that they had in the movie of him as a child, a teenager, and an adult were just fantastic. I think the one in particular that stands out was when Jonathan Kent died in that tornado, hurricane, whatever it was, disaster.
Yeah.
Clark could have saved him, but Jonathan gave him that look like, don't do it, don't expose yourself. Really emotional moment, but it was a really awesome moment. Again, something that makes Superman seem human. Like, he can experience loss just like the rest of us. He can't save everybody.
Yeah.
I just loved it, man. And Michael Shannon did what he could with Zod. I won't say that he was the greatest villain, but I thought that he was formidable. I thought that he did what he could with the role.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed their fight at the end. I just didn't like the ending itself. Like, I don't think Superman should kill anybody.
No other way to stop him, but keep going.
Yeah, that's just my opinion. I mean, Superman's literally the guy that has to find another way because he has so much power. That's my opinion. Okay. But yeah, man, I love this movie. I thought Kevin Costner, just a quick shout out to him, he was fantastic as Jonathan Kent.
He was. And also like that scene when Zod first comes to Earth and he's like looking for Clark Kent.
Yeah,
like that was so dope. It was kind of creepy. Like he broadcast himself on all like the networks and
speaking in all different languages.
He's like, there's an alien hostage on this planet. We need to find him. I thought that was so dope.
Yeah, it was a really good movie, man. Like I said, like the trailers for that movie alone had me like on board. Like, I was like, let's do this. And I was like loving it up until that last scene. But another scene that sticks out in my mind that I want to make sure I mention was after he went to the Fortress of Solitude and he got his suit. And he was trying to teach himself how to fly. He was learning how to fly.
Oh yeah,
and dope. He just looked like a freaking god. Like just pressing to the earth. You see all the spinny crap, and then he just shoots. Yeah, it was crazy. Like, I love that we're in this age of technology where things can look so real and so good. Like, it's not insulting my intelligence.
Yeah.
Like, it
jumps from the comics to the screen.
Yes, man. Like, yes, I loved it. Like, that was just a really great scene, and the music along with it. I thought the score was great. I'm glad they didn't try to keep the original Superman score to separate it. Like,
Have you seen that video of that little kid watching that scene where he's flying for the first time, and like the little kid like he's trying to like fly with him? It's like a little baby.
What?
It's so dope. You should watch it.
Wow. No. Yeah. That seems really cool.
And also, there was like a huge controversy at first regarding their casting as Henry Cavill, because like people were like,
because he's not American.
Yeah, he's like all American Boy Scout. How can you not cast
an American? Yeah, I remember that. And that never bothered me. To be honest, like that literally never bothered me. And I'm like I said, I'm a huge DC fan, huge Superman fan. Like, I love comic book accurate things. Yeah. But to me, he looked like Superman. Yeah. So I don't. Where is he from? Is he like from New Zealand or something?
No, England.
He's from England. Okay. Yeah, it didn't bother me, and his accent was fine. Yeah, I didn't notice it. I don't think.
No, I didn't notice it at all.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. It was just so epic, so grand. Anything else about Man of Steel before I move on?
No, that's it.
All right, cool. So the next one. So I guess the next movie in the franchise is Batman vs Superman, but they kind of made some creative decisions about this movie based on Man of Steel, because Superman killing Zod, obviously that was highly, highly discussed. Whether it should have happened or not. That's not for us to decide, apparently, because Zack Snyder gets to make all the decisions around here. But another thing that was heavily discussed was all the destruction. Like, they were just knocking over buildings after building. They basically destroyed Metropolis. And that was like, why? Like, what's the point? And they kind of answered that in Batman vs. Superman in the opening, whereas, you see it from Bruce Wayne's point of view as how, he's seeing this destruction unfold. Like, he's seeing Superman and Zod fighting each other.
But I'm saying, like, are you blaming Superman on that? Like what could Superman have done?
No. Okay. I'm not blaming Superman. I'm just trying to say the reason why they kind of tied that in was because of Man of Steel. Just because of that facts. But yeah. But Batman vs Superman, again, this is another movie that gets hate. I thought this movie was fantastic. This is another movie I didn't totally agree with the ending, but it didn't bother me to the point where it took me out the movie like Man of Steel did. But give me your opinion on Batman vs Superman.
Love it. I think it's masterful. I know people hate this movie or they love it. There's not really an in-between with this movie. Yeah. I fall on the side where, I absolutely love this movie. Mm-hmm. Some sequences are kind of dumb. For instance, the scene where they introduce all the Justice League, they try to cram them in at the end. You know, what I'm talking about? Like,
Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. You mean?
no, when they cram in the video of Flash, Aquaman, and
Oh,
like, that was dumb.
Okay.
But
and you're saying that because they already had like their insignias and their symbols on it. Like how could they possibly know?
yeah, it just felt. It also just felt like it
didn't make sense
in this movie. You know.
Okay.
They were obviously just trying to set up, Justice League or whatever.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the take on Lex Luthor that much either.
Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg was god awful as Lex Luthor. I'm sorry.
I thought he tried his darndest to bring something to the role, but it just didn't fit.
I mean, he is who he is, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not really his fault.
Yeah.
I mean, whoever
It's the
cast
casting
him,
director,
like whoever decided to cast him in that, you set him up for failure because I was willing to give him a chance. Like, I didn't want him to be garbage as Lex Luthor. He just was.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I agree. And I love the movie. I love the introduction of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
So fine.
So fine.
Yeah. And she was badass in the movie too.
Yeah, she was. Like, there was a scene where there was a huge controversy over casting Ben Affleck. Like, is he going to be a good Batman? I thought he was a great Batman.
Yeah.
The most comic book accurate Batman to date. I know you have reservations on that, but I feel that way. In terms of like the physicality, like that warehouse scene, like that's comic book Batman. Like,
Yeah.
But
to an extent.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, man. So Ben Affleck for me, he was one aside from Jesse Eisenberg that I was really curious about, like how this is gonna work, and I'm happy. Like he was the surprise of the movie for me. I didn't expect it to go so well with him, but you say that he was his iteration of Batman was the most comic book accurate that you've seen. I mean that's fine, but I'm just not a fan of old Batman out of his prime Batman, got to do what you got to do to get it done Batman. Like, that's fine. Like, I get that, there's a version of that exists. But it's just not my personal favorite. But I did like the fact that, they had clues in there about his past, about, what happened to Robin and, the Joker obviously exists. So, I mean, all that stuff meant something.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And Gal Gadot, she was, like I said, she was fantastic as Wonder Woman. Even when she was Diana Prince, when she had her scene in the beginning, and then, when she came in at the end, and her little...
Yeah. I caught, I remember catching, chills when I first came on. I was like, why am I getting chills?
Yeah.
I got chills myself.
And then you see all three of them together,
the Holy Trinity.
Give me more. But, yeah. And then Superman dies. It seems like everybody has to die in all these movies. But, yeah, I wasn't really the hugest fan of them killing Superman because they had already announced Justice League. And I was like, why? And I mean, obviously, the one of the most talked about, sold, read comics is the death of Superman, and they didn't do that really. Like they did the death, but they didn't do the aftermath. But whatever, I'll leave it at that. Did that bother you at all that Superman was killed in the movie?
No, it kind of gave it a sense of stakes, but at the end when the dirt started rising, I was like, okay, well, I guess not really stakes. But I know you could not have a Justice League movie without Superman. No. So I knew he was coming back regardless.
Yeah, which is kind of my point. Like, it's kind of like they're insulting my intelligence. Like, why are they trying to make me believe that Superman's dead? Like, come on, bro.
My whole reasoning as to why I think they did that was because they didn't want to open up. I think they just didn't want to open up a Justice League movie with Superman already there, because whoever the villain is would just be taken out like that. Because if it's not Darkseid, it's going to be somebody of lesser caliber. Sure. It was Steppenwolf, as we saw, which they even teased in Batman vs Superman. So they knew that if Superman was there, the fight would be over in the first act of the movie. So they needed a way to get him out the
get him out the way. Yeah.
So I guess dying was the way that they chose to go. They chose to go that Death of Superman arc with bringing in Doomsday and all that stuff. So I don't really have a problem with that, to be honest.
Okay, that's a good point. I never really looked at it from that way because. I mean, you're right. I mean, if Superman was there, Steppenwolf wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes in the movie. But okay, I'll leave it at that for now. Thanks, Mondo. You're the best. Anyway, so yeah,
I have a quote from the movie I would like to impersonate.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you bleed?
Okay.
You will.
Okay.
that was so dope. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So that's actually what I was getting to next. The Batman versus Superman actual fight.
Yeah.
I thought that it was kind of comical how they had Batman setting up all these kryptonite traps and
How is that comical?
had the kryptonite gas.
That's true to his character.
I know it is, but it's just so funny because like
Kryptonite gas,
yeah,
kryptonite soap.
that's what was funny. Like this dude had kryptonite everything like on deck. Like,
Well, I mean, he had time to prepare though.
I know, and that's what's funny because he's like not playing. Like he's like I got kryptonite pepper spray for your ass. Like I was literally just like, bro, like Batman does not play. It was just funny to me, but I mean, it was the way the fight was presented, they made it believable enough. I mean, Superman was weakened by the kryptonite. Batman won, and he was about to kill him until they said Martha. But what's your opinion on the whole Superman
The whole
Batman
Martha
fight?
thing? Or the whole the fight?
Yeah, that too, but the fight itself and then the Martha
The fight
thing.
was cool because this is the only opportunity we'll ever see Batman beat Superman's ass. So I liked it, and I love both characters, but it was cool seeing Batman almost basically kill him almost.
Mm-hmm.
He could have killed him if he hadn't said Martha, and the whole Martha thing, the whole Martha scene. I know people are so hung up on that, and to this day, it just destroys people's whole experience of the movie.
Yeah,
I get it. Like, okay, if you look at it from the standpoint of, oh, he's saying Martha, so I'm not going to kill him, then I can see how you could feel kind of way. But if you look at it, the reason why I think Batman stopped, doing what he was going to do in terms of killing him was because by him saying Martha, because the whole movie he sees Superman as this otherworldly
villain
being.
Yeah.
Omnipotent, powerful being, has no relation, like, you know what I'm saying? So
If Superman decides to go in the White House and kill the president, there's nothing we can do.
yeah, so Batman sees him as this otherworldly threat, which he is.
Yes, he is.
but when Superman says Martha and he understands that he has a mother too, or whatever, or somebody that he cares about, then it humanizes him to the point where Batman's like, okay, maybe this guy's not all bad. And so looking at it from that that standpoint, I can appreciate the scene.
Yeah,
but I know people hate it, but I don't mind it, to be honest. Honestly, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Do you mind as much?
No. You know what's funny? I didn't even know it was a thing until like 2 weeks after the movie came out.
Oh, really? Yeah, it was a huge thing.
I know it was, but
Yeah.
like I'm saying, like I didn't hear about it. Like I didn't go search for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I went to see the movie twice, and I was like, this is a great movie.
Yeah.
And then I started to see some of the hate for the movie, and I started to see that was one of the reasons. I was just like when I was watching it, I was like, great, Martha. Like like for real. Like it literally didn't cross my mind. It's like, what, Martha? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But whatever.
And also, I think what hurt this movie too, that it came out the same month as Captain America: Civil War.
Oh yeah, sure, it did.
It came out like within either the same week or like 2 weeks within each other.
Okay.
And I don't know why they would do it to themselves, but
Well,
I mean, I guess they thought they had a chance to compete.
I mean, but let's be real. Are people going to want to see a Batman versus Superman movie, or are they going to want to see a Captain America movie?
Well, at that point, it was part 3 of the Captain America franchise, and it was the MCU was big. Like,
Well, yeah, but still, this is Batman versus Superman. Like,
Yeah, but-
they're more of a household name. So I mean, that's how I'm rationalizing anyway. Like, if I was Warner Brothers, I'd be like, Captain America, Winter Soldier. Like, what? Like, who cares about that?
well, they made the same mistake when they released Justice League the same week as they did Ragnarok, and Ragnarok killed Justice League in terms of the box office.
Yeah.
So Warner Brothers,
that's their fault. Yeah, I mean,
get off their high horse and start planning having strategy. But I think it hurt. I think it hurt the movie that it came out the same month as Civil War.
Okay.
And I enjoy Civil War and Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
But
Civil War was better, probably.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. It's a better movie. But I don't know. I like them both equally for different reasons.
No, I feel you. Yeah. I didn't realize they came out so close together. That's interesting. I mean. Like I said, I mean,
and they
if
both
I
have
was,
very similar plot points too. If you like I saw a video on YouTube like they broke down the plot points of how similar they are. It's very similar.
Wow, awesome. Okay, so yeah, the next movie was the Suicide Squad. So this was a movie that this was like straight Guardians of the Galaxy status to me.
Yeah.
Like I was like, bro, I don't care about this. I don't.
Yeah, like if Guardians didn't exist, this movie wouldn't be made.
100%. That's facts right there.
Yeah.
Like the MCU gave DC courage to do this.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, because at this point, I think they had even made Ant-Man too. So
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
But yeah. Anyway, Suicide Squad. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. They tried their darndest. They cast some they cast some great actors. I mean, Will Smith is Deadshot. I mean, I love Will Smith.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie is Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
She was beautiful and crazy and everything Harley Quinn's supposed to be, but this movie was awful to me. It was just I sat in the theater and I was like, it's not over yet. I remember it being overly long. Like I was just like, what? But please give me your thoughts on Suicide Squad, please.
Sure. I thought it had some good casting choices in there. Will Smith killed it as Deadshot. He held the movie together. Him and Margot Robbie. She did great as Harley Quinn. Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. Great casting.
Awesome. Yeah, she was born for that damn role.
Yeah. Or Monique. I'm just playing. I was into the movie. Like, I remember seeing it the first time. Like, I really enjoyed that. And this doesn't happen often, but this is one of those movies where I saw it the second time and was like, what the hell? What was I enjoying? I think just the wackiness of it all kind of intrigued me. But when I saw it the second time, I could sit back and like dissect the movie, like, and look at it from a film standpoint. It was, oh my God, it was god awful. The first act of the movie is actually really good.
Yeah, I agree. But it just goes
something happens
down.
in that middle act where it's like, what is? I think it's like I mentioned with you earlier, the villain was just too high scale for them.
Yeah.
Like, Suicide Squad isn't meant to be going up against no damn goddess. Like,
it's a planetary threat. Yeah, they sending the Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
like what?
They're sending a guy with boomerang, a guy who can scale walls.
But Superman's dead.
Yeah.
So Batman doesn't have the Justice League, and you damn sure not finna send Batman to deal with it. Yeah. So that's I'm guessing that's their rationale for sending the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, and their whole point of being called Suicide Squad because they're expendable. So I guess their logic is that if they die anyway, oh well. Mm-hmm. So I kind of get it, but not really. Yeah, it has some weird, cringy dialogue in the movie. It moved at a weird pace sometimes. But I am interested to see what James Gunn is going to do with The Suicide Squad, which is a reboot now, not a sequel.
Right.
Wow, they just reboot anything these days. Like, it could take, they're rebooted a year later now. They want to.
Yeah,
but I'm excited on his take on that. But yeah, the movie was awful. Yeah.
So one good thing I do want to mention about it is, like you say, Will Smith's portrayal of Deadshot was really great.
Yeah.
But I think the scene he had towards the beginning with his daughter and Batman was really touching. Mm-hmm. Showing that he's human and he's fighting for someone, like he's here for a reason, but he's doing it for his little girl, and having Batman take him away in that moment could almost make the little girl grow up to hate Batman. Mm-hmm. But it was a really good scene. What about Jared Leto though? I mean, how do you think he did as the Joker in this movie?
He didn't have a lot of screen time. But
no, he didn't.
What he had, I thought he did fine.
Yeah. Did his makeup and tattoos and all that bother you? Like, did the creative choice of that bother you at all?
No, because I knew it had to be drastically different than Heath Ledger's. So I know people were really hating on Jared Leto's Joker.
He had a grill.
Yeah, I mean, I like the crime mob approach that they gave to him. He might have been appropriating a little bit, but it's okay. I liked it. It's cool. Like, it wasn't great. It wasn't fantastic, but it definitely wasn't awful.
Yeah,
it was a new take.
Yeah,
I like his new laugh he had.
Mm-hmm.
How about you? What do you think?
Yeah. So I mean, this iteration of the Joker is definitely not my favorite, but I definitely didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I like you said, I thought that he did what he could with what he had. Mm-hmm. He was in the movie for maybe 20 minutes total. But I felt like every time the Joker was on the screen, I paid more attention. But maybe that's just because I'm a fan of the Joker, so like I was waiting for his scenes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I felt like they probably could have went in a better direction, like creatively with the story. I felt like if maybe they would have made the Joker like the central villain,
yeah, it would have been great.
It would have been better.
Yeah.
But I'm not in Hollywood, so yeah. Jared Leto, plot villain, plot sucked, villain sucked. All right, so you want to talk about Shazam?
Sure.
Yeah, so Shazam, I thought the movie was really, really good. Like, I was actually like, wow, like I didn't expect to like it. Like, to be completely honest, it was just something to like whet my appetite before Endgame, because just around the time it came out. But I was like genuinely surprised by the movie. Like, the whole ending was something I had to look up. I was like, they look like Power Rangers, but they're out there in all these different colors, and they all have the wisdom of Solomon and all that crap. So yeah, Megan Good. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, I didn't think it was bad. And this movie was actually doing really well too, like box office wise, commercially, critically, which is good for the DC, because I think they're in trouble. But what's your opinion on Shazam?
Sure, I thought Shazam was awful. I truly did.
You thought it was terrible?
Awful. But look.
Wow.
Okay, I'm trying to break it down why. This is one of those movies to me where I knew what I was in for in the first 10 minutes of the movie. Like, just the tone it was trying to set up. Like, I get it. Like, it's aware of itself that it's kind of like kiddie and cheesy.
Yeah.
But that just didn't sit well with me because one thing that Marvel does well is that even, and I have to compare it to Marvel just because it makes sense. Is that they can have these movies with all these different tones, but you still feel like you're in the Marvel universe.
Okay.
If that makes sense, like there's a connective thread somehow in the themes the way it's shot, everything. It just feels like you're still in that world. There's no way this movie exists in the same world as Batman vs Superman or Man of Steel for that matter. Like it just feels like this is like it felt like a 2002 movie about a kid who, it's like an MTV produced movie about a kid who comes.
Damn.
It's
go off, right?
I feel like if you like these kind of movies, if you're like 12, okay, I'll say this. This movie's target age range wasn't. I don't think a grown man target.
Sure, I agree with that.
I think it was a kids movie. Yeah, and maybe that's what I was just going into it thinking it was going to be for me.
Yeah,
and it wasn't.
Okay.
I laughed a couple times. I thought Zachary Levi did what he had to do. Kind of overcooking it a little bit sometimes in terms of acting like a kid. Like, like I get it.
He is a kid.
Yeah. The CGI was horrendous in this movie. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't.
Really?
You mean for like the bad guys?
Yeah, like the bad guys.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It was literally horrendous. Or even when he's flying, like when he's like standing still, he's not flying, but he's still like floating above the ground. Like, you can tell it's like a string holding him. Like that. I don't know. It's just like the movie just wasn't good to me. Okay. In my opinion.
That's fine.
But critics like it, so hopefully DC can keep making movies that maybe I like.
Yeah, man. Because after Batman versus Superman and Suicide Squad, which were both crapped on, they released Wonder Woman, which did well.
Yeah, it did amazing.
And then they released Justice League, which did awful.
Yeah.
But this, to me, Justice League was one movie that they couldn't miss on. Like Justice League is it. It's the Avengers. Yeah. It's Justice League. Yeah. So I felt like this is a huge misstep for DC. I mean, obviously they're recouping now with Aquaman and Shazam, which both did well. Commercially and critically. Yeah. So, it looks like they're heading in the right direction now. Mm-hmm. But, how can DC pull this together and start making good quality movies? Like what's wrong with them? Like, why? It feels like Marvel has maybe had one or two misses in 23 movies. 22 movies.
Which miss do you think that is?
Incredible Hulk. Okay. And
that's it, right?
Guardians of the Galaxy 2, maybe. And that's just me being nitpicky.
Okay.
But even those movies did well.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, you hate Doctor Strange. Sorry.
Keep going.
But even those movies, they still made money and they still did what they were supposed to do. But
like that's why Marvel is so much better in terms of like their cinematic universe in DC. Because Doctor Strange, I hate that movie. But it's like Shazam makes Doctor Strange look masterful. It literally does. And I think I just hate it compared to the other Marvel movies, but it's not like a bad movie or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But yeah, go off.
Well, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what they can do to solve their issue and stop making terrible movies. Like, do you have any ideas? Should they focus on lesser characters and development? Like, should they keep making these Flash Cyborg movies and build up to Justice League 2 or just reboot?
I think they just don't have a sense of connectivity. Like, I think they should have just let Zack Snyder handle the whole universe. And I know that's so, like, why would you let him handle all the properties? Or have a hand in it at least, because Marvel has done something where they bring in new directors for every movie, right? And so, each movie feels different and fresh and all that stuff. So DC, don't try to copy that formula. Instead of, just, make it different. Have just this one dark tone universe. It just feels like everything like I feel like Warner Brothers panicked so much when they saw the reviews for Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman, where they just pivoted in a completely different direction.
How could they not? That's Batman and Superman. Those are two powerhouses.
But they still made a lot of money.
Yeah, but what does that matter when people hate them?
They pivoted in a direction where now they just don't know what they're doing, and it feels like so unprofessional over there. Like all these recasting and reboots already within the franchise. It just. Yeah,
man, it sucks.
Don't try to copy Marvel. You got to just do your own thing.
Yeah, I think that's the meat and potatoes of it. But as it stands right now, Ben Affleck is out as Batman.
Yeah.
So you've lost your Batman. Henry Cavill may or may not be out as your Superman. So you've lost your Superman.
Which is the equivalent of like losing your Tony Stark and your Steve Rogers. Like
Yeah.
these guys are the glue to the DCEU. But
Yeah.
I think DC's in trouble in terms of their cinematic universe. To be honest,
They are. I mean, at this point, I don't understand how they're going to continue because their continuity is going to be messed up. So I mean, some of their future films, Birds of Prey, which is supposed to be Margot Robbie and a few others and the Joker, but is it going to be Jared Leto's Joker or are they going to recast? Like, I mean, and then with the new Suicide Squad, are they going to keep the same actors? Like, I don't understand how this is going to work.
Yeah,
it's just it's scary. But I mean, are you excited about any of these movies coming forward? Like, there's Birds of Prey, which I have no idea what it's going to be about. Do you know anything about that movie so far?
Yeah. Well, do you know about like that lineup in the comics?
No, I don't.
Okay, it's like the femme, like not the femme, the females of like DC, kind of like the
villains,
anti-heroes and villains. So Catwoman, Poison Ivy,
cool.
Harley Quinn, the Huntress. You know Huntress?
Yeah.
I think even Barbara Gordon as Oracle.
That girl?
It's Oracle.
Has Oracle's in it?
I think she's like the one that like behind like the computers, like telling them what to do. And all
yeah,
that stuff.
yeah.
I mean, look, as a comic fan, I'm excited for all these movies coming out, even though I don't know how good they're going to be. I still want to see them on the big screen. I'm going to be there opening night for all of them. All I can do is just hope that they're good and that DC can find their stride, because right now it's like they're starting off two laps back.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess, so out of the list of future films, like, there's Wonder Woman, 1984, there's The Batman, there's The Suicide Squad, there's The Flash, and then there's Aquaman 2. I mean, these are the only ones that have been announced.
Yeah.
But, I mean, out of these movies, I guess I'm most excited to see Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just because, I don't know if Robert Pattinson's going to be Batman. There still hasn't been a confirmation to that.
Yeah.
Ezra Miller as a Flash, he wasn't fantastic to me. Like, I like Grant Gustin's Flash, but whatever.
I hate Grant Gustin's Flash, for the record.
You do?
He whines in I used to watch The Flash religiously, but I had to stop watching it because he just whines in every episode. And that's not true to the character of Barry Allen, but keep going.
Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have, man. I'm afraid for the DC universe. I hope they can get it together because, like I said, this is my favorite comic book franchise. I want them to at least, be on Marvel's radar, but I don't feel like Marvel's looking back at all. Like,
I think it's like when the Warriors play the Clippers. Like, it's like we see y'all, but not really.
Yeah.
Marvel and 6.
Marvel and 6. All right, I'm gonna end it here. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Current Era Podcast. Monty, thanks for an awesome episode as always, man. You're always welcome on the pod. Guys, if you're a new listener, please remember to hit that subscribe button so the episodes will download automatically. Or you can just go ahead and download those episodes individually, whichever you prefer. But the downloads are what really count. Thank you again to Monty for being on the pod. I am going to start having more and more guests as the summer goes on, guys, so please stay tuned. And thank you for all the love and support that I'm receiving on social media, on my podcast page, the Current Era Podcast, on Instagram, Facebook. I really appreciate it, guys. You guys are showing me so much love. You're telling me that you love the content. So thank you. I will keep making more of it for you. I have some episodes that I've already recorded that I know you guys are going to really enjoy. I'm just waiting for the right time to release them. So, shout out, man. Shout out to all the guests I've ever had on the podcast. Shout out to everybody that's ever downloaded an episode. And it's Monday, so that means I'll see you on Friday. Thanks, guys.